in the city of Philly, where the birds take flight. Eagle swag on the rise each and every night. Tone and Markus got the scoop ready to ignite. From the lanes of South Street to the Broad Street lights. Dashing like a running back, hitting every play. Blind guys in the zone, never led astray. Talking touchdowns, talking game day. Huddle around the mic, hear what they gotta say. Fly like an eagle soars in the sky. Tone and Markus always standing by. Bringing their heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, hear the battle cry. Fly like an eagle soars in the sky. Tone and Markus always standing by. Bringing their heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, hear the battle cry.
What's good? What's good? This is your boy Tone Deshields II. I'm joined by my man Coach Markus from Pro Fan Talk. You guys are locked in on your Eagles off-season show. You're blessed by the best. You know how we guys do it. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to both channels. We're live on 2 YouTube channels. We're live on Pro Fan Talk. Make sure you guys go subscribe. Hit the like button. Go comment under my man content. He's doing a fantastic work covering your Philadelphia Eagles. He did fantastic work covering the entire March Madness campaign. Make sure you guys lock in with my man. He's doing amazing work. That's Pro Fan Talk. Coach Markus is one of the best. On top of that, make sure you guys lock in and subscribe to Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. You know how we give it up over there. So make sure you guys are consistent. Make sure you guys are active because the content is in full flow. We're in flux. The NFL draft is right around the corner. We're, 11 days away? 11 days away, it appears, from the NFL draft. Today is April 13th, and you guys are here with us, and we can't wait to get into it with you guys. Markus, how you feeling, big dog?
It's all good, man. It's all good. Every day is something new happening. Every day. You got the WNBA draft is on Monday. The NFL draft is a couple days away. People are still making moves. A lot of talk what the Eagles are going to do, what Howie is going to do. As we were just discussing earlier about the young man who lost his life down at LSU, there's so many things that's happening outside of the game that are affecting the game. Because now this tragedy is going to affect the draft. And plus, there's a lot of things going on with NIL and people getting in the transfer portal. The kid in Tennessee, Malaysia for Wiley down in South Carolina. All of those things are affecting what's going to happen at the next level. So it's very interesting to see how this is playing out, and it's going to be even more interesting to see how this carries over for the next season and on beyond.
Yeah, it's a lot of news off the field that's definitely going to make an impact on the field. Be it if it's with the business, be it if it's with the power dynamics in all these leagues, the parity, players taking agency of their own career paths. There's so much going on, and you guys are going to get the full scoop from us. We're going to definitely be locked in on that. And again, my man Coach Markus from Pro Fan Talk, he does phenomenal work, not just covering the game between the lines, but he's also doing a fantastic job covering the game outside of the lines. You know what I mean? He's like our digital Brian Gumble. You feel me? He's making sure, you know what I mean? He's covering the game in unique ways. You feel me? So make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed. So as you guys saw from the thumbnail, we have a treat for you guys today. We're going to be doing a mock draft, right? Now, before we do so, Markus, I'm gonna put you down on some of the mock drafts that I've done so far. Okay. Just so you can get a sense of the progress, we've made as far as getting this thing right. So let me just pull up my first mock draft here for you, because I think it's important to just see how we got to this point. All right, let's see here. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right, there we go. All right, you guys, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Here we go. Bring up this mock draft 1.0. There we go. All right. So here is the very first mock draft that I did. Here's the for the first mock draft that I did. Now, think about this mock draft we have here. I made a point to do no trades. This was the very first one. I always like my first mock draft to just be as is and just see who we can land if we don't move. Now, obviously, the Eagles aren't going to draft 4 players in the 5th round, but I think it's always interesting to just see who would we be able to attain if we didn't move. So, in my first mock draft, we got Walter Nolan in the 1st, Princely Uman-Milan in the 2nd, Gunnar Helm in the 3rd, Malachi Moore in the 4th, Miles Frazier in the 5th, Jamin Dumas Johnson, linebacker in the 5th, Zai Frazier, cornerback, as well in the 5th, and Carson Vincent, offensive tackle out of Alabama A&M. We got him in the 5th as well. So
I'm gonna have to look up some stuff on him, Carson Vincent. I wonder, and this is out of left field, but I wonder if his dad is Tony Vincent. They used to. I believe he was a running back. I played against him, I believe, in the World League that first year, '95, but I believe he played a couple years in the league. Interesting. I'm getting old, man, so I'm looking for folks' kids. But it's funny, you get Walter Nolan, and as you were speaking, like literally, I got the NFL mock draft database open, and I just started one. Like, who am I going to get? No trades. So, D tackle, he's gone. Right, the best D tackle available on this draft is Derek Harmon,
right out of Oregon, right?
Right, but Nicky Emenwari is available. The safety is available. You know what I mean? So it's just funny how these, like I just laugh at it because it's so different every time.
For sure. Now let me show you my 2.0 mock draft here. Again, you guys, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed. What we're doing here is we're giving Marcus a run through of the mock drafts that we were able to do on Chalk It Up Sports. Then we're going to do a collaboration. We're going to Marcus and I are going to collaborate on a mock draft today with you guys. So make sure you stay tuned. All right, my second mock draft. This is where we did get some trades done. So we were able to trade up in the 1st round to get Nick Emenwari, safety out of South Carolina. We stayed put in round 2. We drafted Harold Fannin Jr., tight end out of Bowling Green. He was a polarizing pick for my people. When I picked at him, a lot of people felt one way, a lot of people felt the other way. One of the knocks on him that people mentioned was the size and the lack of physicality in this game. Round 3, Deion Walker, D tackle out of Kentucky, more of a nose, but can also play 3 tech if necessary. Kobe Bryant, cornerback out of Kansas. We traded up for him. Demetrius Knight in the 5th round, linebacker out of South Carolina. Round 6, Jack Sawyer, edge rusher. We traded down to get him. The thing is, we were surprised that he was even in the 6th round in the first place.
I agree.
He's somebody that is a top 10 edge in his draft, I believe. So
absolutely, he dropped all the way to round 6.
Right.
Wow.
Now, other mock drafts I did, he did get picked sooner than that, but it was interesting in this particular mock draft that he did make it to 6, but we snagged him. And then in the 6th round as well, we got Connor Colby, guard out of Iowa. We traded down for him. So obviously the standout on this draft or in this mock draft is the fact that the Eagles traded up to get a safety. Something that I believe that they're considering. I don't know if they're guaranteed to do so, but I know you and I have talked about it, that there's a chance that the Philadelphia Eagles potentially will decide to trade up to get the player that they want. And I think if they do trade up, it could be for a safety. It could be for one of those safeties, be it if it's Nick Emenwari or if they find a way to get Malachi Starks. That may be a stretch, but it all remains to be seen here.
You think they trying to go after Justin Simmons?
People have mentioned that. People have mentioned Justin Simmons a lot, and he's talking as if, I'm sure he's communicated with the team in some way.
Yeah, he's playing the game.
And I mean, this is the second offseason in a row where he's taking his negotiations past the NFL draft.
Right.
So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. And he's not coming off of a bad year, by the way. He didn't have a bad season. He was pretty solid, all things considered. So we'll see how that goes. Now, our 3.0 mock draft here. This one was probably this draft caused up a little bit of a stir mainly because people felt like, why are we drafting a guard in the first round? Now, to me, in drafting Gray Zabel at pick 32, Gray Zabel is definitively one of the best offensive linemen in this draft, especially one of the best guards. Now, Gray Zabel, he did play tackle in college, but one of the reasons they have him listed at guard is because of the arm length. I mean, his arms aren't really that long, but he does have right tackle capabilities.
Right.
So he's somebody that went to North Dakota State, an FCS school, but what made him stand out, and the reason he shot up draft boards was his performance at the Senior Bowl. He was able to go up against those Power 5 prospects, and he mopped the floor with him. But he was very dominant in his Senior Bowl performance, in particular in the one-on-ones. So that stood out to a lot of people, and people saw just that raw strength, that football acuity. The dude is just a smart player, and he can play right tackle as well if necessary. So I looked at him as a guy that could potentially start at guard on day one. I think the Philadelphia Eagles still relatively look at Tyler Steen as a very strong swing guard, somebody who can play tackle if necessary, but a very strong swing guard. You bring Gray Zabel in, not only can he play guard, but maybe he becomes your future right tackle. It all remains to be seen, though. But nonetheless, Gray Zabel is a prospect that provides versatility, high ceiling, high football IQ. In round 2, we drafted Trey Amos, cornerback out of Ole Miss. In round 3, we traded down a pick and got Elijah Arroyo, tight end out of Miami. Now, this pick was a little polarizing for the fact that he has dealt with a very lengthy injury history his first couple years in college, and his first year healthy was his past season. And his numbers weren't jaw-dropping, but he was very reliable. But nonetheless, we drafted Elijah Arroyo in the 3rd round, traded back for him. We drafted Jalen Reed, safety out of Penn State. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles actually brought him in for a top 30 visit.
Yeah, I've been seeing his name around a lot. He's popped up in a couple of my box.
Exactly. And Jalen Reed, he's not really he still has a lot of development to do as far as being a coverage safety. You wouldn't put him in a situation in the NFL to play single high. You wouldn't want him as your single high safety, but they project him right now, at least in year 1, as being a sub-package guy. He can be that third safety on the field. In a big nickel situation, you can send him downhill. He's very athletic. He tackles very well. He's very good in the run game. He's very good going forward. Still has some development to do as it pertains to his coverage ability. But
I like his size.
But they believe it's possible. Size is there. Again, the physicality is there. The mentality, the attitude, it's all there. Just has to become more polished and more refined as a coverage safety. Our fit in the 5th round, we drafted Riley Mills, D tackle out of Notre Dame. He's somebody that fascinates me. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Riley Mills is somebody who's like 6'5", but like 298. Very unique.
They got him listed at 6'5", 291.
291, excuse me. A very unique frame, a very unique build, if you ask me. Now, I think Riley Mills, he suffered some sort of injury in December or November of last year. I think it was some kind of tear. I believe if you go to his the full summary, the Scouting Report summary at the bottom, you'll be able to see the breakdown of that. But I believe he suffered some kind of injury, which is why he's probably not getting drafted higher. But somebody with that kind of frame, with that kind of athleticism, is interesting to me. Again, 6'5", 291. That gives me defensive. To me, that tells me he has defensive end capabilities, but can also get busy on the interior as a at 3 tech, could play 5 tech as well. I like that.
He had a ACL tear in December last year.
Yes,
2024. So about a little over a year ago.
Yeah, and then Jared Ivey. We drafted Jared Ivey in the 5th round as well, an edge rusher out of Ole Miss. Jared Ivey was a part of that. He was a part of that dominant defense, but more so in particular, that dominant defensive front at Ole Miss with Walter Nolan, Princely Umanmielen, himself. And I think there was another guy. Trey Amos is also a part of that powerhouse defense in Ole Miss. That was one of their best defenses they've had in a long time. So Ole Miss is having a lot of players that's going in this draft defensively. essentially all their starters are pretty much eligible to go in this
Ole
draft.
Miss
So
has some big boys, man.
yeah, Jared Ivey edge, Princely Umanmielen edge, Walter Nolan D tackle, Trey Amos cornerback. There's another guy at D tackle that did really good for them. I forget. Is it Peg? It's Pegue? I think his name is Peg or something like that. I can't remember. But yeah, Jared Ivey in the 5th round. Then we traded back to get some 6th round picks. We got Jack Nelson, offensive tackle out of Wisconsin. We traded back for him. And Cody Simon, linebacker out of Ohio State. We traded down to get him. And we also walked away with 2 additional 2026 7th round picks, one from Baltimore and one from Minnesota. And then our best mock draft, I didn't get a chance to create a specific graphic for this one, but I still have the screenshot here. In my opinion, our best mock draft by far was the 4.0.
Yeah.
This mock draft, we were able to walk away with 9 players, but this mock draft is so dope to me because with this one, we actually traded out of the 1st round. We traded out of the 1st round, and it was a challenge. Teams were giving us a hard way to go, but
Pierce was still available at 38.
Exactly. When I saw Pierce on the board at 32, I said, okay, I want to trade back, but I want to see if I can still get a 1st round talent at the top of the 2nd round. Because if me personally, if I'm trading back out of the 1st, I'm not going back 10 picks or 15 picks. I want to stay. I want to stay in that 33 to
in the 30s.
38 was honestly a push for me. That was a push because I was trying to get 34, 35. They were playing hardball a little bit, but I was able to make a deal. I believe I made that deal with Minnesota, but nonetheless, I traded back to get James Pierce, edge rusher out of Tennessee, round 2, pick 38. And then Josh Connolly Jr., a projected 1st round pick, fell. He fell in the draft for some reason. I was able to snag a 1st round talent at offensive tackle in Josh Connolly Jr. He's somebody that the Philadelphia Eagles had brought in for a top 30 visit. I was able to snag Terrence Ferguson, tight end out of Oregon. Somebody that a lot of the people liked as well. And it's funny, when I drafted Josh Connolly Jr., people were skeptical because they wanted the kid Mason. I think he went to LSU. His name is Mason
Taylor.
Mason Taylor.
That's Jason Taylor's son at tight end. I like him.
Hey, listen, I would have never thought. I was leaving it at that. But at pick 64, I could have selected Mason Taylor. But when I saw Josh Connolly Jr. there, and I saw the drop off at offensive tackle after him, I said, okay. And I looked at the drop off after Mason Taylor at tight end. I'm like, okay, if I can get Josh Connolly Jr. and if Terrence Ferguson is still there, I'm going tight end. So I was able to get Josh Connolly and still get Terrence Ferguson in the process in the 3rd round at pick 96. Then we followed up in the 4th round with Dorian Strong, cornerback out of Virginia Tech. I traded back up to get him, and he was a part of the package, I believe, how I got James Pierce. But I was able to snag Dorian Strong, cornerback out of Virginia Tech, round 4. I love his measurables.
Like it. What was his 40 time? He was 4.5.
And we were able to get Malachi Moore in the 4th round as well, safety. So we were able to get a top-tier edge rusher, a top-tier offensive tackle, one of the better tight ends in this draft, and we were able to get 2 solid, 2 high floor, 2 high ceiling DBs, and Dorian Strong at corner and Malachi Moore at safety out of Alabama. Then in round 5, we were able to walk away with Simeon Barrow, D tackle out of Miami, Florida. He's a unique player as well.
Yeah, I've seen his name a lot too.
And round 5 also, we walked away with Jack Kaiser, linebacker out of Notre Dame. He's somebody that really intrigues me. Athletic, strong coverage abilities. I mean, can stick with running backs, can stick with tight ends. He's somebody that, in my opinion, that can really pose as an asset. Jack Kaiser out of Notre Dame. And then we drafted in the 6th round Holland Pierce, offensive tackle out of Rutgers.
Yeah.
Somebody who's a freak as well. I think he's like 6'8", 6'7". Still has some tools to refine, but he has the physical profile that Jeff Stoutland would love to
Woo.
mold. You get what I mean?
Good grief. 6'8", 341.
Yeah,
Lord
yeah.
have mercy.
And then Tyler Batty, we went edge again.
Wow.
In the 6th round, Tyler Batty, edge rusher out of BYU, we traded down. So Holland Pearson, Tyler Batty were traded down so we can get some additional picks. In the 6th, Tyler Batty, edge out of BYU. His measurables are pretty cool as well. He's somebody that had some things on the resume that I liked. So, and also I look at it like this. I like the Eagles' depth at D tackle, especially when you add in Simeon Barrow. I like that depth already, but at edge, I believe there's still some questions in terms of what's Bryce Huff's future? Will he be here when the season starts? Okay, Josh Uche, will he be on the roster when the season starts? There's only certain guys that I'm pretty guaranteed that will be on the roster when the season starts, and I think that's obviously Nolan Smith, obviously Jalix Hunt. I think Azeez Ojulari makes the roster. And then at that point, after those three guys, it becomes a question mark, right? Because we just don't know what they're going to do with Bryce Huff. We don't know if Uche is going to make the roster. We don't know if Patrick Johnson is going to make the roster. So I think it's important to bring some new young guys in that edge and double up their first pick of the draft and our last pick of the draft. And we'll see where it goes from there. So, what's your thoughts, my man? Talk to me.
If we got that draft, that would be phenomenal. But I'm thinking about it. It would be hilarious because that puts us, well, I would think, hopefully, that would put us in the same situation we in now, because we got a lot of primetime players that's going to need primetime money. Because just on that list alone, let's just say 1/3 of those, I'm going to say James Pierce, Terrence Ferguson, and then you can throw in your third one. 3 out of those 9 are going to be balling. And I would say at least 2 of them would probably be starters. And of course, we all guessing, but we talking about, 3 years from now, how many of those players are going to need to re-up early because they're not going to go. The Eagles are not going to let them go into the last year of the contract.
And you bring up a good point. You bring up a good point because you traded out of the first round, you don't have that 5th round option. So James Pierce in particular, you're going to have him on a 4-year deal, and you're going to have to decide relatively early what his future is.
You're going to have Josh Sweat all over again.
Yeah, I do see your point. I do see your point here, but this is where things get interesting, because if James Pierce becomes a problem, then you got to start making decisions on. I mean, look, this is a good problem to have.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I think it's important for fans and spectators to understand that everybody can't go.
Yeah,
everybody can't make it. And it's just, I mean, this Eagles team, they lost a lot of guys in free agency, and they've gotten significantly younger in the process.
Yeah.
So,
and it's funny because now a lot of these players, I mean, like, think about the way it's going down, and every week somebody else is signing a new contract that's driving up a price at another position, right? So now it's like you don't even have to be a great player; you just got to be good. And then when your time comes, if you are good, you might not get the $33 million a year, but you might get 25. It all depends on where you are and what you've been doing, and whoever sets the market, because that seems to be what's going on now. The market is being reset every 2-3 years. So
absolutely, man. One guy in particular who's going to get paid, Quinyon Mitchell. I mean,
absolutely.
Derek Stingley and J.C. Horn reset the market tremendously. And J.C. Horn, I love his talent, but he's somebody that can't even stay healthy, in my opinion. They still paid him. So,
are we gonna be in the same situation like Williams and Sweat with Coop and Quinyon? Are we gonna be able to keep both of them?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Luckily, they're only entering year 2, but I believe those conversations are already being had. I think the Eagles view this core defense as of today. They view this core defense as Jalen Carter, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, and Nolan Smith. Now, granted, Zach Bond is obviously under contract, but Zach Bond he's a hired gun. 3-year, signed to a 3-year deal, really a 2-year deal because the first 2 years are guaranteed. He's actually one of the older players on the team now, if not the oldest guy on the defense. So I don't count him in that core conversation, not because he's not good, but I'm talking about guys they've drafted. That's that's what I mean by the core guys, and I just don't know. I don't know. Again, what if Zach Ball? He could just be getting started. Maybe he gets another extension after this year because they see that the writing on the wall with him in his game, right? Who knows? But I think as far as guys they've drafted, the core guys, in my opinion, are Jalen Carter, Quinyon, and Coop, especially.
Yeah.
You could sprinkle in Nolan Smith in there as well.
Right. Now, just think about this. Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Zach Bond, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell.
That's 5 guys.
Out of those 5 guys, at least 2 of them are probably going to make the Pro Bowl next year. Easy.
I think Jalen Carter can be a perennial Pro Bowler. That's how good he is.
I was just about to say that. Jalen Carter is a lock, so take him off the table. You know he's going to make it. So now you got 1 more. So that leaves Zach Bond, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, and Nolan Smith. One of those 4 is going to make the Pro Bowl next year.
I don't think Nolan will. Again, Nolan is a guy, he put up 6 sacks this year.
Yeah.
And he put up 4 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
No, Nolan could just be hitting his stride. Nolan could be I see Nolan Smith as being a perennial 9 to 11 sack guy.
Yeah.
That's what I see for him personally.
And he got to stay healthy.
And he has to stay healthy.
Yeah. He popped that shoulder out with the quickness. So
yeah. So we'll see.
And I'm saying that because of the whole conversation we were just having about 1, 2, 3 years down the line. You got a bunch of Pro Bowlers in the building, and that money's going to go up because you don't know what all these other teams are going to do to set the market.
Yeah.
So it's a to your point, it's a very good problem to have, but it is a problem nonetheless.
Yeah. Decisions.
Yeah. Spending that money.
What would life be without him, right? What would life be without him? All right, let's see. All right, so people have waited long enough. Let's get started on this mock draft, man. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So I have it here. You guys, we're going to be using profootballnetwork.com again here. And if we have time, we can do another mock draft. And let's see here. Yeah, if we have time, we could probably knock out another one, depending on how fast this thing goes. But you guys know sometimes, especially for trading, you gotta give them a deal, offer them a deal they can't refuse.
Right.
So, and Jalen Petrie just got an extension as well. I forgot about Jalen Petrie. I thought Jalen Petrie was a safety. Yeah, Jalen Petrie is a safety.
Huh. What'd he get?
I'm looking at it right now. Make sure I got this right first. Yeah. They have him as a nickel here. Okay, I see. Okay, I see it. You're right. So for some reason, they have him listed at nickel here after the CJ trade. They have him listed at nickel. But as far as what he got, Jalen Petrie got a 3-year, $39 million deal. That's $13 million a season. Now, as far as the guarantees go, he got $30 million guaranteed. So they're essentially guaranteeing the first 2 years of that deal. He has an average salary of $15 million guaranteed per season for the first 2 seasons. So if you bust that down, so $39 million total contract, $30 million guaranteed. But essentially, the first 2 years are guaranteed. All right. Okay. Yeah. On the depth chart, they have him listed as a nickel, but I think
he's versatile.
Yeah, he's versatile. He has position versatility.
Now, before you get started,
yes.
What is your what do you deem as the top need for the Eagles?
That's a good question. I think it is important that we go into this kind of with the game plan. That's the thing. That's a troubling question, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Because this Eagles team, despite what they've lost, this Eagles team is young, they're talented, they're dynamic, and when I look at each position, from a talent perspective, I don't say they need a pressing need, but I think from a depth, I think it's about depth and option.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's the thing. It's about depth and options. And one can argue corner because you lost Slay and Isaiah Rodgers. One could argue that. And I would have a hard time arguing with them with that. Because that's a very logical explanation. You lost 2 starting level corners. And now you're relying on Kelly Ringo to step in. He's still relatively an unknown. So I wouldn't even argue with somebody if they said corner, right? Somebody might say edge because you lost Josh Sweat.
Yeah. The
Bryce Huff contract is looking like a dud. After Nolan Smith and Jalix Hunt, what do you have? You brought in Aziz Ojulari, but still a wild card. Health is his biggest thing. We know he can get to the quarterback, but health, that's the thing. And then, Patrick Johnson, he was on his roster before, but he got cut. Will he even make this roster?
Right.
And then Josh Uche, he hasn't really been a player since 2022 or 2021, whatever year he had that 11 sack season. So one can say edge, and I wouldn't even be mad.
I'm flip-flopping. I got DT/edge.
And then somebody could say DT because they lost Milton Williams.
Yeah,
I would probably push back on DT because I would say you got Jalen Carter there. You still got guys who have tremendous upside who are still barely scratching the surface, like Moro Ojomo. You
got to push him though.
You got to push him. You still got Jordan Davis there. You got Thomas Booker IV, but I strongly believe people are forgetting about Byron Young and Gabe Hall.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? Thomas Booker, when he played in that one game, he played well.
Yeah,
and it was like, okay, we got something here. Then you didn't see him no more.
Yeah, I mean, so that's kind of what happens. You behind those guys, but
he got lost.
Thomas Booker IV, Gabe Hall, and Byron Young. I believe those 3 guys in particular are being overlooked because of their name.
Yeah, I agree. When you say it like that, you're 100% correct.
Byron Young is a guy who went to Alabama. He was drafted by the Raiders, but the Raiders were so bad. It's for me personally, it's always hard to judge players in bad situations.
Right.
For me, at least. So I'm giving Byron Young a clean slate. He went to Alabama. You got to be talented. You got to be talented on some level to last in a Power 5 like that and go up against those top tier offensive linemen, right? So Byron Young, a guy in my opinion, and also if you notice, the Philadelphia Eagles when they traded for Byron Young, they didn't put him on the practice squad. He was active, or not? Right. How can I say active? He was on the active roster. They didn't want to lose him to the practice squad.
He was in the mix.
I pay attention to the moves. Yeah. They keep a guy on the roster. They don't want people to touch him.
Correct.
Same thing with Trevor Keegan. Trevor Keegan was on the active roster. He never touched the practice squad. They really like him at guard. So Byron Young is somebody that I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does with this opportunity. They kept him on ice all year long. And then Gabe Hall, he's somebody else that they had. I want to see what he can do with more opportunities. I think they have more depth at that D tackle position than people really realize.
Right.
That's why I believe D tackle is not really a pressing need in the first, even if Walter Nolan is there.
Right.
But somebody may argue, well, Tone, they still haven't decided if they're picking up that 5th-year option with Jordan Davis.
Yeah.
You draft Walter Nolan, and you have a guaranteed first round talent to phase in there. Moro Jomo's entering year 3.
Jordan's going to be a very interesting prospect going into camp this year. All eyes are going to be on him for that point. You got to put your foot down, and this is your opportunity to get that bag if you're going to get it.
Yeah. So I think you can make an argument for a handful of positions, but I think the only argument I would entertain position-wise is corner, edge, and safety. D tackle, honorable mention. Me personally, I could wait until the 3rd round to get a D tackle.
Right.
Me personally.
Interesting. I got D tackle 1, edge 2, tight end 3, and safety 4.
I forgot about tight end. Somebody can make an argument for that.
At 3 and 4, like I got tight end / offensive line. safety / offensive line. Because the offensive line, it just seems to me, based on Howie's history, they always looking at that. So if you got a decent safety but a good offensive line at picks, 3 and 4 or even 4 and 5, they'll probably go with the offensive line.
Right.
So it's all up in the air. We just guessing.
And look, here's the thing, right? After all that we said, I think that's why it's going to be so important to just monitor how the draft board falls on draft night.
Yeah.
Because I think the Philadelphia Eagles are open to drafting a handful of those positions. Just the talent just has to match the value.
I think Howie is going to trade up and come off these picks. I don't think he wants all of the picks. I think the picks are just trade bait. And he's going to work his way up and get who he wants to get. The question is, who are they looking for? And normally, could that person fall? Will we be seeing the same thing like Nolan Smith again?
I see. I hear you.
We're going to find out in about 2 weeks.
I hear you on that because he does have a lot of draft picks, and I have a hard time believing he wants all those. I have a hard time believing that. All right. Let's get this thing on the road. Give me 1 second. All right. Now, I got one more question for you before we start. Are there any players that you're just, if they're there, you're not even entertaining them? Are there any players that you're just not interested in whatsoever?
No. Honestly, I haven't done that much homework. I'm looking at strictly whoever pops up, and this is kind of how I do it. I'll run a mock draft, and then you're gonna come across a name like, who's that? So then you start doing your homework. I go look at what Ian Cummings said. Then I go look at what the bonus said. Then I start looking on YouTube. Let me see some of his tapes. So you just kind of reverse engineer it and see what you like. You look at the RAS scores and all of that type of stuff, because some of that stuff it pans out, but a lot of it doesn't. You can have a high RAS score and then you suck. So it can be one of those lift like Tarzan, play like Jane. So there's nobody. I don't take anybody out of the picture because you never know what somebody's going to do when they finally get the opportunity.
Yeah. That's a good point. All right, let's get this thing on the road, y'all.
Let's do it.
Here we go. We're doing a 7-round mock draft. We're keeping the speed on normal. We're drafting for your Philadelphia Eagles. Let's get this ball rolling here.
And you got trades on, right?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, Cam Ward to the Titans. Abdul Carter I keep seeing that. Abdul Carter to the Browns. I keep seeing that. Ted McMillan to the Jets. Ashton Genty to the Saints. Mike Green to 49ers. Tyler Warren to the Cowboys. Interesting. Nicky Minwari to the Bengals. Nick Scorton to the Chargers. It's a little high for him, if you ask me. Jalen Walker to the Texans. Wow, Bengals. We just saw. Interesting. The Bengals traded back up into the first.
And got James Pierce.
They jumped ahead of us. They must have felt like we was going to get him.
Yeah. Now look at this one on my screen. The Cowboys jumped up and got Pierce.
Interesting. So they traded back up in the first round?
Yes. Oh my God.
And then the Chiefs traded up to get D tackle Derek Harmon. They traded up to pick 23.
This is crazy, dude. On mine, the Cowboys traded a 44 and 174 and a 2nd round pick next year to move up to 29 to get James Pierce.
Wow.
That's funny.
So the Bengals walked away with Nick Emenwari as safety.
Wow.
And an edge rusher, James Pierce.
Oh, I didn't see that. Emenwari went to Cincinnati too?
Yeah.
Ooh, so they just bolstered up their defense. I can see Cincinnati doing that.
I mean, they're not. They're not. I know that's your home city, so I'll be nice.
Nah, you can keep it a buck, bro. You can keep.
I don't think they're that smart, man. I don't.
I hope so.
I just don't, man. They got Shedeur Sanders falling to the Seahawks.
Going to the Seahawks?
What is going? Okay, Shedeur Sanders' fault. Like, I feel like the Shedeur Sanders criticism is way out of line.
I think it's totally unwarranted. I think this is all smoke and mirrors. The optics of it is that like somebody got something against them, which wouldn't be the first time. Somebody put some BS out about a quarterback before the draft. But and this is, this is my little pet peeve, is like, this is when you can tell who watched tape and who didn't.
Like, it just seems like people, even analysts, right? When it just seems like they putting a lot of sauce on their Shedeur Sanders evaluations. Like, I saw Dan Orlovsky say, "This is the hardest quarterback evaluation I've had in a long time." Why?
Exactly.
Why?
Because I saw that, and he was talking about he throws a lot of screen passes, and I'm like, when he stepped in the pocket and took the hit to the face and still got the ball out on time and on target, what's the problem? He only did it 200 times instead of 350. Really?
When I saw him, because I watched some of their games, like, that offensive line did him no favors.
Garbage.
No favors.
It was hot garbage, and they were better than the year before.
They should have never won. Like, he should have never. They should have never won as many games. That team was Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, and everybody else.
Yeah, Joey Horn Jr. stepped in there and had some moments.
Yeah, had some moments. Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, all right, we're at pick 32. We do got some trade offers though. I'm not. Nah. This trade offer sucks, Houston.
Nah, goodbye.
Kiss my ass, Houston. Reject. Seattle. This one sucks too.
No.
Oh wait. Nah, I don't like that. It's too far back for me.
It would have been in the 40s.
If it was,
you got 50 and 52, so that's goes back to your comments about defensive tackle. If we good, what's
18? That's 18 picks back though.
Yeah.
That's that part is just too far for me. Like that pick 52 is intriguing, but it's just too far back. It's just too far back for me. I don't know. Yeah, I may have to reject this one, bro. Now, that doesn't mean we can't make our own trade offer somewhere.
Right.
But let's see who we have available for one. Let's reject that. So on the board here, we have offensive tackle Josh Simmons out of Ohio State, Jackson Dart quarterback, running back Amarian Hampton, D tackle Tyleik Williams, Jalen Milroe. This mock draft killed me because some of the guys that normally would have been there, like Walter Nolan and James Perry, like, okay, all right, they're making me think a little bit because now trading back doesn't seem too bad, but I can't go back so far though.
Well, yeah, but what are we looking to get?
So
are we gonna go edge?
I was actually about to say a name that stands out to me is edge. Donovan Iziraku. The Eagles did bring him in for a top 30 visit. Let's read his profile real quick. 6'2", 248. Has a RAS score of 8.12, a raw athletic score. The sack production for 2024 speaks volumes, but Donovan E's tape is flooded with pro-ready technique. He uses his hands incredibly well, and he plays with relentless passion when he's chasing down the ball. His sack total doesn't just consist of proverbial empty calories. Iziraku earns his sacks with active rush angle manipulation, and intelligent hand application and counter work, emboldened by his natural leverage, burst, bend, and proportional length. Because of his smaller frame, Iziraku could struggle against the run early in his NFL career. Additionally, while he has good tools overall, he doesn't quite have elite size, adjusted speed, and burst. Still, as a stand-up outside linebacker in the base 3-4 system, Iziraku has the skill set to be a solid starter fairly early in his career, particularly on pass rush downs. This is kind of what the Eagles are looking for, a stand-up guy.
And you know what? I did not know this until I just looked this up. He's a local kid.
I think from Jersey, right? Jersey City?
He's from Williamstown.
Williamstown.
That's where I am. He right across the street. I'm in Sicklerville. He in Williamstown. So he a local kid. So you know how I feel, man. Keep your homeboys at home. So
Now the question is there a chance we could snag him if we trade back?
how far back?
I'm only talking a few picks. Like, I'm not trying to go past, because he's considered the 37th ranked prospect here. And there's still the 25th, 31st, 32nd, 34th, 35th. And the thing is, these two of them are quarterbacks.
Right.
And could Cleveland choose a quarterback right here? Because they didn't draft one in the first. They drafted Abdul Carter.
It's possible. It's.
Let's see here. Let me try.
Because to me, for me, the question is who, and this is why is you really gotta have a list of your guys. You know, because I know Howie on this big board, you got a list of people and you rank them just to make it easy, 1 through 10, all different positions, and that number, if you get to your pick and your number one guy is there, you get him, and then you keep crossing them off the list as they get drafted.
True.
And then, well, maybe do you really need a tight end right now? But you got a guy that's ranked number 6 on your list and he's available. You get him until your list is done or you done traded away.
Yeah, honestly, I don't want to take the risk. I think I'm just gonna grab him.
Do it.
All right, Donovan Izaraku.
Because and they say this a lot. It comes down to, if that's the guy you want and he's available,
get him.
You go get him.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right. Okay. You guys, we walked away with Donovan Izaraku. Round 1, pick 32. Let me mark this down here. Donovan. That's a hell of a name, I'll tell you that.
Iziru Ako.
Yeah, something like that.
Iziru Ako.
Edge.
And this is when it shows, doing these mock drafts, man. This is when it shows when you really got to do your homework and see if a player matches the team you got.
That part. And Donovan does. And he brought him in for a top 30 visit.
Yeah.
So here we go. We got another trade offer here.
Pick 64.
In the 2026 fifth, they give us, wow, they are desperate for this pick. Look at this. They're desperate for this pick. Pick 86, pick 125, and a 2026 third.
What's next?
Let's see.
Don't reject it, but what's next?
Yeah. Right.
That's not bad. That's not bad. 75 and 100. So that's 9 picks later.
I like this one.
Do it.
Let's do it. I like this one. All right. We'll accept this one.
Tyleik Williams.
All right. Let's just see who we lost out on, because we traded with San Fran. They drafted guard Tate Rutledge out of Georgia.
Huh.
Jalen Milroe goes to the Giants.
The Giants? Oof.
D tackle Tyleik Williams. Darius Alexander goes to the Patriots. Josiah Stewart, Bears, Denzel Burke. Okay, let's see what we got available. This is looking like the top 30 draft, because TJ Sanders is somebody Eagles looked at. He's a DT. They like him.
Look at that tight end down there sitting, just chilling.
Where is he? Harold Fanning Jr.?
Yep.
It's funny. Like, I love his stats, but he's like 6'3", 6'4", like 2. He's light. He's light in the caboose. You know what I mean?
Well, I thought so too, but they got him listed at 241.
And here's the thing.
Then I went and looked at Ferguson. Ferguson, I believe, is 245. So it's not a big discrepancy in the size. I thought he was lighter than that. I thought he was like 230. But if you're getting around 240, 250, I can work with that because you're going to get in the weight room.
I think. Okay, these are the tight ends. These are the tight ends that are left. When I look at TJ Sanders being on the board at D tackle, and I see these tight ends that are available, I don't feel compelled to jump for a tight end. What about you? When I see these names here,
I agree because I'm a fan of Terrence Ferguson.
I'm a fan of Gunnar Helm. I'm even a fan of Luke Lachey, but that's further down in the draft. I ain't got to reach for that.
But like I was saying, Terrence Ferguson, 6'5", 247.
6'5", 247. Harold Fanning Jr.
Not a big discrepancy
6'3", 241.
In the size.
Yeah.
So it's all about, once again, it goes back to, did you like what you saw on tape? And this dude was electric.
He was.
This dude was electric. Then it goes to, like I just said, if you do your homework, does that player fit your team? Now it comes down to the real question. Is our offensive coordinator going to utilize what we got?
That part. And I just feel like a guy like Harold Fanning Jr., he's a high volume guy.
You got to give him the ball.
And with the offense with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley,
Jalen Hurts.
I have a hard time believing that we will be able to get the most out of him.
Yeah.
Again, I'm looking at his numbers, his production. He's a high volume dude, and he's very good in the short game, the intermediate game, the seams, the deep game. He knows how to find the soft spots in the zone. But I'm willing to bet there's other tight ends I can get that can do similar things that are bigger and block a little bit better.
Right.
And I can still get my D tackle and TJ Sanders. What's your thoughts on that?
Right. Elijah Arroyo is still available. I mean, yeah. But it all comes down
to Helm, Terrence Ferguson. It's not bad.
Luke Lachey. No, not bad at all. But I guess my thing is, if we still don't know what's going to happen with Dallas. I think that might end up being like a draft day trade. I wouldn't count that out. But from what I saw with Dallas Goedert, and I'm not talking about the injuries, we do need a better blocking tight end. Especially, this is weird to even say this, especially if they ban the tush push.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We got to have a better blocking tight end. I know Dallas Goedert is my dude throwing the ball. He going to make something happen. However, there were a few times where he was a liability, and Grant Calcaterra and the other ones, they were a little bit of a liability when it came to blocking. So if we can get the best of both worlds, I'm willing to do that.
All right, so I'm looking at something real quick.
But real quick, to your point, Harold Fanning is a volume guy that's going to have to get the ball, and we don't throw the ball to our tight ends that much. That's the thing, because again, he's a high volume dude, man. Now here's the thing. I'm looking at all four of these guys' profiles, right, in terms of their blocking ability. I'm going to give you the order of these guys from best blocking ability to worst. Okay? It's according to the scouts and the grades. Elijah Arroyo has a 65% blocking grade, according to NFLDraftBuzz.com. Okay.
Terrence Ferguson has a 61% blocking grade, according to NFL Draft Buzz. Gunnar Helm has a 60% blocking grade, according to NFL Draft Buzz. And Harold Fanning has a 56% blocking grade.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Now, what's interesting about it all is that, in my humble opinion, the best combination of everything, because Harold Fanning has the highest ceiling from a pass catcher perspective, all his grades from hands, short receiver, intermediate, deep threat, he's he supersedes a lot of those guys, right? But the one guy who, in my opinion, is the most balanced prospect, again, according to NFLDraftBuzz.com, the guy who has the most balanced set of skills out of all those guys I've named is Gunnar Helm. Gunnar Helm, and also Gunnar Helm has the highest pass rating when targeted. If look at Gunnar Helm's scroll down to his overall rating.
6'5", 241. 84.5 is his overall rating.
Yeah,
his
right
blocking is 60%.
Right. Now look at the hands, look at the short receiving, the intermediate routes, the deep threat routes, and compare it to Harold Fannin. Not that far off.
Yeah.
Not that far off.
Yeah.
If Gunnar Helm is there, see, I would see what I would do is I would take TJ Sanders and pray for Gunnar Helm if he's there. If he's not there, I'd be totally content with either taking Terrence Ferguson or Arroyo. What's your thoughts on that?
If you can get somebody like that, because everything you said just makes sense. Makes perfect sense, especially if you can wait and then again, you made this point earlier. A lot of people might not know the name. But if you do your homework, you look at the stats, and you look at the valuations, the kid can play. And more importantly, like I just said, I need somebody that can block a little bit better.
Right. And I also want a guy who is comfortable not being a high volume guy, a guy who's comfortable doing the dirty work.
Let's do that. Let's wait.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to take TJ Sanders here, D tackle.
Okay.
All right. So we got TJ Sanders here. We got him in the third round. Is that what that was? Yeah. Round 3, pick 75.
And we're up next with 96.
TJ Sanders
Jr., Cameron Williams.
D tackle. South. What are they offering? Here we go. South Carolina.
Drop 4 picks.
Let me just see something first, though.
Drop 8 picks. 8 picks, and then what? What's that? 9 picks? 11?
I'm not going to project it. Let me just see where we are. Pick 96. We also got a pick one. We also got pick 100 right here as well. Let's see who's available. Let's go back to tight end and see who's there.
Yeah, I was about to say. So now there it is.
Okay, Gunnar Helm got taken. Gunnar Helm was taken by the Texans. Took Houston. I mean the Texans took Elijah Arroyo, and the Chargers took Gunnar Helm. He went right after Harold Fannin. Broncos got Harold Fannin right here.
I would say grab Ferguson.
Absolutely. Now this is the point in the draft where I don't think you can go too far without getting a tight end.
Let me. I just saw one.
Because Terrence Ferguson, ironically enough, he's the number 6 ranked. He's the 96th ranked total prospect, and the Eagles had the 96th pick.
Right.
So it's looking like Terrence Ferguson to me, and we also still got pick 100. So I think we're in good shape here.
You got that kid down there from Notre Dame too. Not bad. But I was still like right here. If I'm gonna get a tight end,
you're talking Mitchell Evans.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we agree on Terrence Ferguson, right?
Yeah.
All right. Terrence Ferguson.
This one doesn't rank the drafts, does it?
Does it rank? Oh no, it doesn't. Like it doesn't give you like a grade or anything.
Yeah, the other one because
I think PFF gives you like a grade on everything.
Yeah, it gives you like an A+ pick or something like that.
All right, so now they want to give us pick 121, the 2026 fourth for pick 100. I don't know how I feel about that because I got pick 134 here. I don't feel it neither. Write this down here. Terrence Ferguson, that was a 3rd round pick. Pick 96. This is an interesting draft class. I'm not mad at it so far.
Right.
Not mad at it at all so far. And he went to Oregon, right? Okay. So far we have Donovan Izuraku. Got him in the first. We traded back and was able to get our defensive tackle, TJ Sanders, in the third. We also drafted Terrence Ferguson in the third as well. So we've replaced, in theory, you replaced Josh Sweat and you replaced Milton Williams, in theory. In theory. I'm not, and also these are guys you scouted. These are guys you did the science on. So I think that's another reason why I feel even better about it. Now, this is where things get interesting because we got to start thinking about, okay, is this the point where we decide to get our safety?
Yeah.
This, our DBs, right? This is the point of the draft where we get our DB. Now, me personally, I never feel a need to rush to offensive line because I trust Jeff Stoutland so much. So me personally, when it comes to offensive line, I'm paying attention to traits. Like depending on where I am, like if I decide, okay, I want an offensive lineman here, I'm looking at traits now, measurables. Okay, how much clay are they providing Jeff Stoutland to work with? You follow me? So
yeah.
So at pick 100, what we have available here, we have Kevin Winston Jr., safety out of Penn State, which is interesting because Jalen Reed is another safety out of Penn State. I think he went earlier in the draft, but you got Lathan Ransom, safety out of Ohio State. There's that corner again, Dorian Strong that I drafted out of Virginia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
You got Charles Grant, offensive tackle, the guy that we scouted, the Eagles scouted. You got Billy Bowman, safety out of Oklahoma. You got Zy Alexander, corner out of LSU. You got safety. This is a very heavy safety portion right here. So let me just look at the safeties right now because I do think we got to get the safety. Not too far in this draft.
Right.
So says here, Kevin Winston Jr. KGK says Winston was hurt. He's a first-round talent. Interesting. Let me read this up. So 6'1", 215. It says Winston showcased his elite playmaking ability, excelling in pursuit, tracking, and tackling. His instincts in coverage and tackle security highlight his potential as a refined prospect with the tools to thrive in the NFL for the next decade. Interesting. Let me look up his profile on NFL Draft Buzz. Kevin Winston. Where are you? Kevin Winston Jr. Oh, come on now. You're killing me, Smalls. I got to find him on here. Kevin Winston Jr., where are you? Sometimes, I will admit that sometimes NFL Draft Buzz, the search bar can be a little wonky.
Yeah, I just found a player that they don't have on here.
Like you gotta type the name in exactly how it is. Otherwise, it won't find him. Oh, here it is, Kevin Winston Jr. Oh, wow. Okay. Kevin Winston Jr., he's the sixth ranked safety in this draft. He's actually ranked higher than Jalen Reed. According to NFLDraftBuzz.com. Let me read this profile real quick. Kevin Winston Jr., 6'2", 215. They even got some of his measurables a little off. I think it's because he did miss that. He got hurt. Presidential Mike says Kevin Winston Jr. is definitely a first-round talent. Okay, he's not the first person to say that. Nigel B says, I heard Kevin Winston only missed one tackle in his career. Interesting.
I think it was like 2. But that's a good stat.
Yeah, everybody's saying, yeah, Luther Winfield is saying Kevin Winston would have been a first-round, second-round talent if he didn't get hurt. Interesting. So everyone's saying this guy Kevin Winston could ball.
Good size, great size.
Yeah.
4.5 40, great size.
Yeah. 6'2", 215, 4.5 40, 32-inch arms.
I say take him.
Offensive rating that he went up against 80%. Tackling grade a 94%. Run defense grade 98%. Coverage grade 82%. Zone grade 73%. Man press 83%. I could work with this.
Played at a big school. Used to playing in big games.
Yeah, played in the what is it? The Big 10. Passer rating when targeted 88. He's projected to go. He's projected to go in the third.
I mean, he's from Penn State, so he understands the pressure.
Yeah. I think this is a high value prospect that you find, or that you just so happen to find that we just so happen to land on in the late third round. A guy who could have went early second, a guy who could have went second, maybe late day one.
Mm-hmm.
As Blunt, our guy, says he's that guy. He was the primary safety at Penn State. That would make sense if Jalen Reed was more so of a big nickel, a guy who's more so downhill. You got to have somebody who actually can play coverage.
Yeah.
And Kevin Winston clearly was that guy. Okay.
Covering contact. I like it.
I like that. He can cover and he ain't afraid to get busy. I like it. And according to NFL, according to Pro Football Network, he's the 75th ranked total, the 75th ranked prospect. We getting him at 100. I like those. I like that.
Take that size, bro.
All right. And like you said, the size. Kevin Winston Jr. out of Penn State. Kevin Winston Jr. All right. And that was a early fourth round pick, I believe.
Presidential Mike says Kevin gonna beat out Sidney Brown for that starting job. We'll see.
I'm not.
Listen, man.
I'm not betting against it.
That's possible. However, let's not forget, like, Sidney Brown was chopped liver before he hurt his knee. And Sidney Brown, the same way, is fast and physical. So we'll see.
I'm not betting against it, y'all. I'll tell you that.
That's a good problem to have.
So we've drafted so far 3 players in the third round. I think we got good value in the third.
Yeah, most definitely.
We drafted TJ Sanders in the third round with pick 75. We drafted Terrence Ferguson, tight end, with pick 96. And then 4 picks later, we drafted Kevin Winston Jr., safety out of Penn State, at pick 100. So we walked away with 4. We walked away with 4 top 100 players. I don't think that's bad at all.
That's how we like movement. Can live with that. Now let's just hope they can play.
that part. Play and stay healthy.
Yeah, for real. I'm expecting going forward into the future, the turnover is going to be a lot more important because you're getting less work in the preseason, and then they're going to add that 18th game. So having depth on your team is becoming very, not like it wasn't before, but it's going to become even more important going forward.
Yeah, with that 18th game, like you said, you're right. You're absolutely right. Now, the question is, are they going to increase the rosters? Are they going to give these guys another bye week? Like, I mean, come on, you got to do something.
I think that's something that'll probably be collectively bargained. And I don't think that the NFL would have a problem because ultimately they're getting what they want, which is another game and more money. So
right,
it's going to be a little give and take, but
has to be, man. I mean, and over the course since 2021, we've seen a game increase in a significantly shorter time span than we've gone from 16 to 18 way quicker than we've gotten to just the 17th game. Yeah. You follow me? Like it was 16 games for what? Well over 20 years?
Yeah. I remember when it was 14.
Then in a 5-year span, 5-year span, now we're already talking about an 18th game. So, and that could be implemented for the 2026 season.
The NFL is going to make their money.
Yeah, they're going to make their money.
They're going to make their money.
All right, round 4. Round 4, pick 134, you guys. Okay, this is where we are. So far, we drafted Donovan Izaraku in the first round, edge rusher out of Boston College. We drafted TJ Sanders, D tackle out of South Carolina. So far, those two guys have been scouted by the Philadelphia Eagles. They've been brought in on top 30 visits. We also walked away in the third round with Terrence Ferguson, tight end out of Oregon, and we walked away with Kevin Winston Jr., safety out of Penn State. I think so far we've gotten tremendous value, in particular in that third round. Tremendous value. And I think we've drafted potentially at minimum 2, at most. I'd probably say you drafted around maybe 2 to 3 potential starters for sure. Kevin Winston, Terrence Ferguson, and I think it's a toss-up between Donovan Izarako and TJ Sanders, not because of talent, but because of depth purposes. So it all remains to be seen. But I like what we've done so far. All right, who's left here? So we got an edge, we got a D tackle, we got a tight end, we got a safety. We've addressed some pretty significant needs, and got talent in the process. I wouldn't mind looking at an offensive lineman. I'm also open to line. I ain't gonna lie, I'm open. I'm very open. So
this is where they're gonna pull the OL. Now, tackle or hybrid, like somebody that can swing, but this is offensive line territory.
Okay, so the first offensive lineman on the board here is Jackie Slater. That sounds like one of those 80s one of those 80s boy toy names. Jackie Slater.
Slater was a former All-Pro for the Rams, I believe, back in the day, back in the late 70s, early 80s.
6'3", 311, has a raw athletic score of 9.37. That's remarkable. Jackson Slater could be the next iteration of a small school stud offensive lineman to become a starter in the NFL. An immediate contributor at Sacramento State out of high school. He started 44 games in his career. That's a lot. Earning first team All Big Sky honors 3 times. He was a standout at the Senior Bowl and an elite athletic tester at the NFL Combine with a 5.01 speed. Damn. At that size, 5.01 speed, a 1.78 10-yard split in 31 bench reps. Damn. Excuse me. With 32-inch arms. His most extensive experience is at guard, so any move to center is a projection. But he has the mobility, strength, and natural leverage to succeed at any interior line spot. And he's great depth, right? He's great depth out the gate. So they project this guy to be somebody who can be an instant rotational guy, potential starter for sure. They say you project him if you see him as a center with any kind of center capabilities, it's all projection. But they say he has the athleticism to get it done. Jackson Slater, that's the guard. Now, tackle, Chase Lunt. A lot of people are really high on this guy. The chat is especially. Chase Lunt, 6'7", 304, has a raw athletic score of 6.45, though. That's not impressive. Chase Lunt is an athletic and technically proficient offensive tackle known for his, but the measurables are nuts, though. 6'7", though. Tackle down for his exceptional movement skills and versatility. He excels in pass protection, utilizing quick footwork and fluid lateral movement to effectively mirror edge rushers. In the run game, Lunt demonstrates a strong understanding of blocking angles, making him particularly effective in zone blocking schemes. His ability to reach the second level and engage linebackers showcases his ability and field awareness. However, to maximize his impact, Lunt needs to add mass and strength, as his current build may limit his effectiveness against more powerful defenders. Okay, if that's the worst you could say about a guy, that he has to get bigger. Okay,
exactly.
That's easy money. That's easy money.
Just put him through the Stoutland University training program, and he'll be fine.
Now, here's the reason why I'm leaning more towards Chase Lunt than Jackson Slater, even though Jackson Slater, I love everything they said about him. Here's the reason I'm leaning towards Chase Lunt. I think the Philadelphia Eagles need more depth on the exterior than they do on the interior. On the interior, You have Tyler Steen, Trevor Keegan. You traded for Kenyon Green. You also have Brett Toth, and you got Matt Pryor, who's really earned his money in the NFL at playing guard.
Right.
Even though he's listed as a tackle, he's played guard primarily. That's really where he's been best at. And then remember they brought in Kendall Lamb at left tackle. So as of right now, in my opinion, your interior guys are Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, Tyler Steen, Trevor Keegan, Brett Toth, Kenyon Green, and Matt Pryor. That's a lot of depth on the interior. That's guard, center, and right. That's guard and safety included. Now at tackle, you got Jordan Mailata, Lane Johnson. But then after that, you have an older Kendall Lamb, a guy with experience, but older.
Right.
Laken Vakalahi, a project, but the Eagles like. You got Darian Kennard, a project, but the Eagles like. So in my opinion, you don't have too much top tier. You don't have any top tier prospects at that tackle spot. Because again, Kendall Lamb's the OG, and then outside of them, Laken Vakalahi and Darian Kennard, I think they're still projects.
Yeah, but after seeing what Stoutland did with Dickerson and Jurgens,
right? I don't doubt that he can get them where they need to be. I don't doubt that.
It to me, it don't even matter. This is one of them situations. I'm like, whatever, because I know Stoutland's going to take care of it, and he hasn't. His track record is stellar right now.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
So that's one of those situations where I'm like, I'm hands off. Whatever you say, yes.
Laken Vakalahi, 6'5", 320. Darian Kennard, 6'5", 322. Kendall Lamb, 6'5", 305. This kid, Chase Lunt, 6'7", 304. A little light in the caboose, but that height, that length, you get him in the NFL. The raw athleticism, the quick feet.
Yeah. Can he drop step and anchor that defensive end? They
said his ability to reach the second level and engage linebackers showcases his agility and field awareness. So he has great spatial ability. He doesn't get lost in the sauce. Strong understanding of blocking angles.
You are backing up Lane Johnson.
Quick footwork and fluid. So he's loose and he's loose in the hips. Quick footwork and loose in the hip. Look at the guy's very. I think I may go with this guy again. That's 6'7". And then remember, Lane Johnson. He's like what? I think Lane Johnson's 6'6", 320.
6'6", yeah.
Chase
the way to get up.
The way to get up. I could see him putting on easily 15 pounds of NFL strength, NFL muscle.
Absolutely. And,
you know
and let's not be silly. It's not like he's weak.
That part.
It's not like he's weak. My only issue with somebody this big, and like you really got to see him play. How does he lower those hips? Because now you playing a game of physics, and just think of somebody like Nolan Smith. What Nolan Smith is best at is coming off that line like a missile and putting his hands in your chest. So when that offensive line drop steps and lowers his body, he's got to be able to anchor himself to receive that force and take it inside, outside. Then is that edge going to spin inside, spin outside? Like, what is he? This is when you got the hand fight. This is where all the hand fighting comes into play. Are they ripping it underneath? Is it like BG that'll rip that arm down and swim over top of it to get that strip sack? That's when all of that tough stuff, starts to come. And then you saw what Lane Johnson did to Javon Curse in the Rams game. He put him down and put him in the ground. He didn't do that every play, but he did get the best of him in some plays. So I'm looking at it from that standpoint. The size is great.
Are you talking about Jared Verse?
Jared Verse. Thank you. Jared Verse. The size is great at 6'7", but I'm looking at his hips. I'm looking at that feet. It says quick footwork and all that kind of good stuff because he's going to need it on that edge.
Yeah.
Because the edges The defensive edges nowadays. Now, if you a defensive edge, the average is going to be a low 4.6 and into the 4.5s. And then every now and then you're going to get somebody like Nolan Smith that can get in the 4.4 territory.
Yeah.
And you got to be able to anchor that because you got all of that force coming at you.
Yeah. See,
so
I'm always more concerned about a guy with slow feet and power rather than a guy with quick feet and just has to get a little stronger, put a little more size. You can get stronger before you can get faster.
Absolutely.
And I think that's why I like this guy. So to your point, yes. Hey, Jeff Stoutland, yes. It don't matter who you take. So we'll take Chase Lunt here, offensive tackle out of UConn. I love the way you broke that down, by the way. All right. So we walked away with Chase Lunt in the 4th round. Chase Lunt, offensive tackle, UConn. All right. Let's see where we are. All right. Now this is the part of the draft where it gets interesting because all we have left are we have 4 5th round picks here. They're all within 10 picks of each other. I think this is where trades start to happen for us. So
I think they're gonna already be gone.
Yeah. Now, to your point, I definitely think those picks are already gonna be gone, but by the time we even get to this point in real life.
Yeah.
So let's just see where we are here. So pick 161. Okay. Anthony Belton, tackle out of NC State. I think the Eagles are looking at him too. Okay, so we got edge, DT, tight end, safety, offensive tackle. I think we need a corner or something, or a linebacker. Excuse me. But I don't want to reach for a guy.
Yeah, at this point, are you really reaching?
That's a very good point. Very good point. It's a very good point. Let's go on defense.
Simeon Barrow still there?
Yeah, he's still there. Yeah, the guy I drafted before. He's definitely still there.
Yeah, see, this is all up in the air.
Yeah, so this is the corner. These are all the corners here. No Williams.
This is the point where I wish you could just let the computer finish. Because
that's a good point.
You never know what you're gonna get. You never know what you're gonna get.
That's a good point. No Williams, cornerback out of Cal, 6 feet, 191. Okay. Raw athletic score, 712. No Williams is an experienced college corner with over 3,300 career snaps played. Okay. Saw playing time early in his career as a true freshman. So he was good early, was primarily an outside corner, but also has taken snaps at box safety and in the slot. So position versatility, has a tendency to get grabby and be late getting his head around to the ball in coverage. When he's beaten, he's amassed 17 career penalties. Average zone corner whose route recognition could stand to improve. Outstanding on-ball production. Had 9 pass breakups and 7 interceptions this past season. He's handsy, but he takes a lot of risk. He takes a lot of risk. 9 pass breakups, 7 INTs this past season. Always looking to make big plays. A solid man corner with good press technique. Unfortunately, Williams' top end speed is just average. A guy like him, because of that lack of speed and how handsy he gets, he may be projected as a nickel.
Yeah, but honestly, at this late state in the draft, to me, this is the same as free agents. You don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
You got some people that might not make the team. The only difference between late round picks and free agents is the late round picks get guaranteed money. That's the only difference.
Yeah, that's true. And also, out of all these other corners available, I like his measurables.
Yeah.
I like his size the best and his raw athletic score. I like his the best. He has the best one. 6 feet, 199. Good size, very solid size for the corner spot. How you feel about taking him right here?
Do it.
All right. Noah Williams, corner. A guy a playmaker. He's a playmaker. He gets his hands on the football. He's a playmaker for sure. But he has to work on that technique a little bit. I think that's coachable. What's your thoughts on that?
Right. My point is, aren't we saying the same thing about Keely Ringo?
You're absolutely right about that. That's my thing. I feel like people have had this weird shift on Keely Ringo. Like honestly, and it's a little alarming to me. People were so high on Keely Ringo. He hasn't done anything to lower his draft stock. Now, granted, he hasn't done anything to elevate it, but never not say draft stock, but his stock from last season.
Yeah,
he hasn't done anything to hurt it.
And let me be honest with you, and this is when he popped up on my radar. I forget what game it was when he went over there and made that tackle and just leveled the dude.
That was the Browns game, I think.
And I was like, I forgot. It was either the Browns or the Bills game, I think. Yeah, and I was like, I forgot how fast he was. Then I'm let me hop on YouTube and go back to the draft to the combine. Yo, this dude 4'3", this dude 6'2". I was like, oh, okay. We need to get him some snaps.
Right.
So, if everybody's saying the same thing, handsy, and he's got to do. Everybody's in that situation. So, the only way to get out of that stuff that everybody's talking about is you got to get snaps. So he'll have his opportunity this year, but somebody like Noah Williams can come in there and push, and you never know what's going to happen. It always helps to have a ram in the bush somewhere.
Yeah, and you still got on this roster, you still have you brought in Dory Jackson to push as well. You have this guy on the roster named Tyreek Castro Fields. I think he was an undrafted guy that they brought in the practice squad.
Yeah.
You also have this kid named AJ Woods, another guy that was undrafted that they brought in. Perry Nickerson.
We got bodies, Riggs. Bro.
They got bodies for sure.
We got bodies. So
they got bodies, definitely. As of right now, Keely Ringo is slated as the starter. Next to Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, and Sidney Brown is in there as a starter. I think whatever safety they do draft is going to push the hell out of Sidney Brown.
Right.
Going to push the hell out.
And I ain't got no problem with that because I like Sidney Brown and I like Keely Ringo.
I like those two players a lot. I really don't like how people like. It's really been strange. It's really strange.
If y'all didn't learn anything from Nakobe Dean, because they said the same thing about Nakobe Dean when he was coming back from injury, are we going to have to get another? And the only thing he did was get out there and ball. And him and Zach Barn were the best duo damn near in the league. And I don't see Sidney Brown as that much of a fault. So now you're talking about we got Reed Blankenship, Sidney Brown, Keely Ringo, Cooper DeJean, and Quinyon Mitchell back there. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Yes, I wish we could have kept CJ, but we didn't. And again, people forget Sidney Brown was playing well before he got injured. Playing very well.
Yeah.
So I'm good with what we got. And I have supreme confidence that Vic Fangio will have our defensive secondary together because it has been proven. He's let everybody know and put everybody on notice that he is not playing favorites. All you got to do is go back and ask that linebacker we got in here that didn't touch the field.
Good point. Very good point.
So I have supreme confidence that Vic Fangio is going to do what he has to do because, like I said before, to me, in my opinion, Vic Fangio and Jeff Stoutland are at the same level now. Anybody they bring in, they get the best out of them.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. I don't like having these back-to-back picks at 164 and 165.
We won't.
Yeah.
We won't.
I'm just going to swap these and just try to get back. I don't really care because I got 165. I got 164 here, and I still got like 168 or something like that. So I'm just going to give a straight up swap. I don't really care.
Yeah, this is the trust in Howie phase. At this point, I'm sitting back with nachos and chicken wings, and I'm just watching because I know Howie's done. At this point, Howie's already worked his magic.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I just did straight up swap. I don't care.
yeah.
164. Okay. Who's available here? Okay, I'm looking at because who do we have? We got an edge, we got a D tackle, we got a tight end, we got a safety, we got a offense tackle, we got a corner here. I think at this point now we could just grab what we want. So, I would like to walk away from this draft with a linebacker though. They do got Cody Simon here, 6'1", 229. I did draft him before. Cody Lindenberg, 6'2", 236. Oh, nah, he got durability concerns. Let's see here. I actually wouldn't be opposed.
Did we just sign a linebacker?
Did we sign one like in free agency?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't think so. I don't think so. I know we drafted. I don't know. I really can't remember. All right, I think I'm going to take here. I think I'm going to take another offensive lineman right here. Let me see. Luke Kandra out of Cincinnati. 6'4", 319. A raw athletic score 934. Oof. Luke Kandra transferred from Louisville to Cincinnati after 2 seasons. He's an above-average athlete who gets off the ball quickly and moves well in space. He's also a physical offensive lineman who plays with a high motor in the run game. Kandra is a disciplined player that has unbelievably been penalized just twice in his entire college career. Damn.
Oh, you got to take him on the strength. He's from Cincinnati. So
hey,
you got my vote.
I ain't mad at it. He had and listen, the traits match. He had elite pass blocking production this past season with 0 sacks and 8 pressures allowed on 447 snaps. Since Kandra does have stiff hips, which impacts his overall pad level, he's a strong anchor in pass pro and can hold up the bigger and more physical edge rushers in the run game. Kandra is an impressive second level blocker. Hey, you asked for it, you received it. Luke Kandra, guard out of Cincinnati.
There you go. And that linebacker, Uche.
But yes. He's like an off ball. He's like an edge.
Is he considered like an edge or?
Yeah. He's considered an edge.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, Luke Kandra. Guard out of Cincinnati. Not mad at that. Not mad at that at all. All right. We got pick 168 here. Pick 168. We have. So we got 2 offensive linemen. I think we're cool on that. Do you have any concerns about our center depth? Our center depth?
Hell no.
Okay.
The only thing that concerns me about Cam Jurgens is, did they figure out what was wrong with his back?
Well, beyond him, I mean, I'm not really too worried about him. But the back is important. But I'm talking about beyond him.
Nah.
Okay. Okay. So because we got so many bodies at corner, I think drafting just one to be fine. We drafted the safety. I'm cool with just having that one. And again, we're not talking about undrafted guys they're going to bring in too. So, we got the tight end. I'm not worried about that. I wouldn't be opposed to going D-line again. I wouldn't be opposed. Now, one guy here that people were really high on that I didn't draft last time was Aeneas Peebles.
Right.
6 feet, 282, very undersized. Understood. Got you. All right, so we're gonna make this quick here. So I'm thinking we go, because we drafted Simi Burrow last time, I'm just gonna take Aeneas Peebles here. at pick 168 out of Virginia Tech. So we got Aeneas Peebles, 168. Aeneas Peebles, DT, Virginia Tech.
He's small too.
Yeah, he is. He is. Athletic as hell, but small. In the sixth round, we can take. You know what? I honestly don't mind taking a wide receiver here. Ricky White, wide receiver, 6'1", 184. Had a built on his 1483-yard, 18 touchdown season, 2023. Flash of speed and vertical playmaking to draw serious NFL attention, operating in Brandon Marion's go-go offense. White's ability to manipulate space and Chris Routes stood up. Right. Yeah, I'll take him. Fuck it, why not?
I've never heard of that go-go offense before.
Never heard it either. But hey, I'll take him. They say like his traits for day 3 is a steal. So, all right, we're done. That was round 6, I believe, correct? Yeah, round 6. Round 6, 186, Ricky White. Wide receiver, UNLV.
Damn, Luke Lachey is still available, the tight end from Iowa? I thought he'd have been gone.
Yeah, that's nuts. All right, there you go. Seattle just took him.
Gotcha. Joquavius Marks. That looked like something from Key and Peele. Joquavius.
Yes, that's funny. Wow, Kyron Lacy just got drafted on here. That's crazy. Seattle took him. Rest in peace, young brother.
Didn't update the algorithm quite yet.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
All right. You guys, here we are. This is our mock draft. This is what my man Coach Markus and I came up with. Walked away with 9 players.
I can live with it.
We drafted Donovan Eziraku, edge rusher out of Boston College in the first. We traded back and we drafted TJ Sanders, D tackle out of South Carolina. We drafted Terrence Ferguson, tight end out of Oregon in the 3rd round as well with TJ Sanders. We also drafted Kevin Winston Jr., somebody that we traded back to get in round 3. Well, actually, it was a trade up because he was a part of a package. So
right.
So that was a gift. Round 3, pick 100, we got Kevin Winston Jr., safety out of Penn State. We drafted Chase Lunt, offensive tackle out of UConn. Noel Williams, cornerback out of California. Luke Kandra, guard out of Cincinnati. Luke Kandra and Noel Williams were 5th rounders, while Chase Lunt was a 4th rounder. Aeneas Peebles, 5th rounder as well. DT out of Virginia Tech. And Ricky White, wide receiver out of UNLV in the 6th round. So I'm not mad at this draft. Not mad at it at all. Especially the first half, especially from Donovan Eziraku down to Chase Lunt. I'm pretty confident in those picks. The other ones, you take a swing, you see what happens. But nonetheless, I'm not mad at this draft class at all. Let me actually take a screenshot of this real quick before we go so I don't lose it.
We are gambling.
Gambling at the end of the day. At the end of the day, this is all gambling.
And I'm going to do a couple more throughout the day, and they're going to look totally different.
Exactly. So, exactly. All right, you guys. This has been the show.
This is it.
This has been our show, you guys. We appreciate you guys for locking in. Thank you guys so much for always staying engaged in the content.
Absolutely.
Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel.
Yep. Check me out tomorrow night when I'll be doing my coverage for the WNBA draft.
Straight like that, you guys. So this has been your Eagles all-season show featuring Coach Markus and myself, Tony Deshields II from Chalk It Up Sports. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Pro Fan Talk. By the way, you guys, make sure you screenshot this mock draft when you get the opportunity, okay? It's going to be available for you guys to double back on. We appreciate y'all. Got a lot of love for y'all. Again, this has been your Eagles offseason show, and we out of here.
Go Birds.
In the city of Philly, where the birds take flight, Eagle swag on the rise each and every night. Tone and Markus got the scoop ready to ignite. From the lanes of South Street to the Broad Street lights, dashing like a running back, hitting every play. 9 guys in the zone, never led astray. Talking touchdowns, talking game day. Huddle around the mic, hear what they gotta say. Fly like an eagle soaring in the sky. Tone and Markus always standing by, bringing the heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, yeah, the